Okay, hi. So I was just giving a presentation for Autodesk at this year's SciGraph about this job that I did, which is Camilla Cabello's announcement that she was playing at the opening of the UEFA Champions League final, right? And I was just going through all of the different stuff that I did to it. And one thing that people commented on is a little technique that I was showing about how to create nice motion blur on the edges of a green screen comp. Obviously people quite like that, quite a few commented on it. So I said I'd post the setup in the forum, and also I'm just going to record this little video to give a demo of how it works. So it's just a nice way of getting like motion blur edges on a green screen comp like that, which is often quite tricky. Yeah, you can see nice motion blur there on her hair and stuff like that. Not perfect, but you know, pretty good for a green screen comp. Okay, so this is my batch. It's big, one shot wonder, 32-second job, so 32-second shot. So yeah, it's quite a full-on batch setup. Okay, so this is what we've got. This is the green screen. You can see that there's some motion blur in there, but it's tricky to work with. Red on green is always quite tricky. Yeah, you can try and sort of key off the transparency, but I prefer to do it this way. I get a hard key. So that's my alpha channel, hard edged key of that motion blur dress. This is my front. So this is my front. So this is color suppressed, the green screen. And I've just done some wash on the motion blur edges to stop the green feeding into the red at the point where there's motion blur. It just causes some color problems. So yeah, just a wash to paint all of that. So you got your front, you got your alpha. This is what I do. So I take the front and pre-multiply it by the alpha channel. So we got her on black, right? And the reason you're doing that is because you don't want the background interfering with the motion analysis. So the motion analysis is driven by that pre-multiplied layer, so it understands the movement of the dress, the movement of her hair without the background interfering. So that's creating a nice motion blur on those edges, right? Nice motion blur on those edges all around there. And then that same motion analysis is driving the motion blur of the alpha channel, right? So your alpha channel is also getting exactly the same motion blur. That's important, can't be different. But the problem here is that it's motion blurring not just the edges, but also her. Ooh. Sorry about that. Okay, motion blurring her too, and we don't want that. So here's your motion blurred alpha channel, and from that you run matte edges. Sorry, edge detect in matte edge. So this is your edge detect. So you're isolating all of this area here, and you're just saying, in this comp node, you're just saying I only want the motion blur to take place at the edges. And that's with all of it. You don't want that. So yeah, that's what we're getting. Just motion blurring all of those edges. Motion blurring the edge of the hair, motion blurring anything that's moving around the edges. And the same with the matte. It doesn't really matter there. Yeah, it doesn't really matter in this case, but yeah. So that's fine. You got your pre-multiplied layer going through, you got your matte going through, both with identical motion blur added to them. Now just ignore all of this. It's basically feeding straight out into here via some other processes, but it's obviously quite a big comp. So then here you can just see that gives you nice motion blur all over here. So if I give you a angle split of the same but without the motion blur, you can just see hard edge, nasty. And I mean, you could do better than that with other techniques, but this is just you could do better than that with other techniques, but this is a technique that I like to use because it just gives me total control over the motion blur of the edges. So sometimes it looks a bit too much, sometimes the client says it's a bit too much, or the director or whatever, and you can just dial it back, or sometimes dial it up even. Yeah, but that is just a really nice technique to give you motion blur on the edges. I hope you like it. The full video that I did will be going up on it's like a 1 hour walkthrough of everything on this job, and that's just gone out now, but I will be posting that up at some point. I think, sorry, Autodesk will be posting that up in a week or two. You can watch the whole thing if you're interested, but that's just quite a cool little technique. Hope you like it. Okay, cool, cheers, bye.